You find yourself at the gates of Prologue 2. All you have is a stick. What do you do? Of course they're alive. They are quite able to defend themselves, even if there is quite the fray going on right now. Wait, so Princess Elise wanted you to protect Marth, but she went to speak with Marth and yet you didn't meet up there. I'm sensing some pretty poor planning here. Hey, sorry we're late. We were on break and there were free donuts in the lobby. Well, they kinda made it to the throne room, so I'm not surprised they're at the gate. Well, we do need to seize the gate, but since we're beginning the chapter and we have two new characters, why don't we take a look at them? So, both of our new units are actually Cavalier units. Cavaliers are horse-mounted units that are able to use both swords and lances. They also have a superior movement to pretty much any given character in the game. As for individual strengths in terms of stats, the Cavalier class doesn't really have any particular one. It usually varies from character to character. For example, Abel here actually has some pretty good skill and speed. However, we also have Frey. Now, Frey wasn't in the original game, he was added for Shadow Dragon. He has lower starting stats than Abel, however, for the most part, his growth rates are actually better, with the exception of strength, but it's really not that much lower anyway, so it's not a huge deal. Now, neither are really bad units, but if you're gonna pick between the two of them, Frey is your better option overall. So that's done and over with, but the enemy also has some units that we don't have. For example, they have soldiers. Now, soldiers are generally early game enemies in a Fire Emblem game because, well, they're usually pretty terrible. They never really have impressive stats, they're foot soldiers so they don't get that much movement, and really the only advantage they have over the player is the fact that they have lances when most of the player's units are going to have swords, and axe users are a bit rare in the series. Other than that, though, yeah, they usually disappear around halfway through the game just because they're not that useful in the enemy's team otherwise, and rarely are they ever even playable on the player side, and there are no playable soldiers in this game either. I don't think I've really been trying to take the stealthy approach in all fairness. I mean that literally. Put some cheese in front of a bag, we'll stuff him inside of it. Alright, so of course that fighter's going to attack us, but thanks to the fact that I was able to trade items with Frey, I got the Iron Sword first in his inventory and he equipped it and he was able to dodge that enemy. Of course, it's not like that fighter could have done that much damage, but hey, you know, it helps. And as Martha's going to point out, we've got archers on the battlefield. Now, archers are special units. First off, they have weapons outside of the standard weapon triangle. Of course, they wield bows. Now, the thing about bows is, you do have to attack from 2 spaces away from an opponent. However, by doing that, normally they will not be able to counterattack, so you get to attack them and suffer nothing for it. However, you do have to be careful because there is, of course, a major drawback. If an enemy approaches an archer, then they won't be able to counterattack because, of course, you need to be 2 spaces away to use a bow, and as such, if somebody's swording you, well, there's not much an archer can do about that. Archers are typically considered to be some of the worst classes in the series by the fan base, just because, well, of course they have that major weakness, and they're not defensive units. In fact, they're pretty easy to tear apart for the most part. They do have speed, but they don't have that much defense, usually not all that much HP. Basically, their best assets are their speed, skill, and accuracy. Now, I did say there was a bit of an exception to the whole you can't counterattack an archer from far away thing. There's a weapon in each category that actually allows you to attack from a distance with that weapon type. There are 11 swords, there are javelins, and there are hand axes. For example, this javelin that just missed here, Abel is able to use that to counterattack an archer. However, it can also be used up close, so it does have that advantage. Now there is a bit of a disadvantage in that usually these weapons are less accurate and less powerful than what you'd normally use, but if you've got archers around, it might pay to equip one of those just so the archer doesn't just get free damage off of you and you get nothing for it. It's usually a pretty good strategy. And since we can take this guy out, we should be clear to have Marth take care of the boss. I probably should have one of my Cavaliers take care of him just for experience, but Marth also needs the experience at the moment, so you know what? I'm gonna attack him with this. And see, we're done here. What did I tell ya? Soldiers are easy. And we get... That's not a bad level up at all, especially with that point of luck. But with that done, we just have to take this random square in the middle of nowhere, and we will be done with the chapter. And... map clear. It gladdens me to see you in one piece after dispatching that enemy easily, even though I was right here all along. You know, I can't tell if people are nearsighted or farsighted in this game, because sometimes they can see from like halfway across a battlefield, but then there's Kane here who's like, you know, a few yards away from Marth, and he's like, Marth, where are you? Even though Marth is like the only distinct character sprite in the game. Oh, come on, you're just a few letters off from that. You don't have to go arg from the pain. Just finish your sentences, man. No, we're going to let him bleed out. Yeah, that's totally easy. You know, just casually not bleed to death while riding along. I mean, the horse is doing most of the work anyway. Most of them are really weak, but we're afraid of them anyway. Trust us, the really tough ones are off-screen. Yeah, a lot of people have died, and you probably shouldn't leave Marth alone. His parents are kinda dead. I make the natural choice to let my brother be an orphan with no siblings whatsoever. I don't think anyone really needs time bots. No, Malladus, it would take far too long to pack. You know I don't travel lightly. And I swear to God, if I have to go without a pillow, I will kill someone. Ah yes, the ever-important character Malladus. We all remember Malladus, right? He's been acknowledged outside of this game, right? Wait, who's Malladus? Oh right, the guy in front of me.